Guys, my dream has come true. A control deck with blue and white won a Pro Tour and Zoo was nowhere to be seen. Victory! Hey everyone, my name is Wedge and this past weekend was Pro Tour Born of the Gods in Valencia, Spain. Let me tell you, it was insane. The field had over 25 different strategies represented across 400 people. The most played deck only made up 16% of the field. Modern is a sick format. Let's get right into this tournament review. First place, $40,000, a sweet looking trophy, and Platinum Pro status for the next season goes to Sean McLaren with white-blue-red control. The nice thing about control decks is they generally have the same goals no matter what format you're in. This strategy utilized all-stars like Snapcaster Mage, Cryptic Command, Remand, and more to just plainly stop spells from being cast. Path to Exile, Electrolyze, Lightning Bolt, and Lightning Helix, among others, destroyed whatever actually made it through the counter wall. The deck usually ended the game with Celestial Colonnade beatdown. One interesting thing about this particular strategy is that it main decked a Johnny Vengeant. Not only that, but in the finals of the Pro Tour, it was able to use its ultimate. Awesome. One thing to know, a one of Threads of Disloyalty out of the sideboard cleaned up game after game for Sean throughout the tournament in every matchup it came in against. You can expect this Singleton All-Star to be a huge part of the upcoming Modern season. Second place went to 18-year-old Jacob Wilson playing Melira Pod. For those of you that don't know, this is a combo designed around the card Birthing Pod from New Phyrexia. Basically, the card lets you sacrifice a creature at sorcery speed, then search your library for a creature with a converted mana cost exactly one higher than what you just sacrificed and put it into play. The idea is that you pod up to Melira Sylvok Outcast and get a Murderous Redcap and Viscera Seer. Then you sacrifice the Redcap to the Seer. Melira's effect prevents the counter from Persist from going onto the Redcap, so every time it dies, it can just come back again, dealing 2 more damage every time. You can either win the game this way or gain a billion life by doing the same thing with Kitchen Finks. When not using the combo, the deck still has a ton of utility creatures like Linvala, Keeper of Silence, and Voicer Resurgence to keep creatures on the board and protected. Even though the deck is defined as a combo deck, it can still win just by smashing someone's face in. Very cool. In 3rd, 4th, and 8th, we have 3 different variations of the Splinter Twin combo deck. The combo the strategy is designed around is the interaction between the enchant creature Splinter Twin and the creature Deceiver Exarch. You play the Exarch, enchant it with Splinter Twin, and make a copy. The copies under the battlefield effect untaps the original, allowing you to make more copies again and again forever. The copies all have haste, giving you an arbitrarily large army of Exarchs to attack with. Let's talk specifics in these 3 distinctly different variations. Patrick Dickman, who came in 3rd, ran a variation called Tarmo Twin. As you might expect, it splashed green for Tarmogoyf and Scavenging Ooze. It also added in Pestermite as another way to go infinite with Splinter Twin. The rest of the deck is a control shell with Cryptic Command, Snapcaster Mage, Remand, and most other things you might expect. The 4th place variation was the old school blue-red version of Twin we're used to seeing, run by Anzialkio. In addition to the normal interaction between the Exarch and Splinter Twin, a single copy of Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker and 2 Pestermite were added for additional infinite combos. Much like the first list, the rest of the deck was very control-centric, mostly with stuff we've seen before, minus a one-of Peek in the main deck. Apparently it was run over Gitaxian Pro because he wanted it at instant speed. Stylish. The last variation of Splinter Twin in the top 8 was white-blue-red. Coming in 8th, Tim Rivera added a significant amount of white to the deck to run 4 Wall of Omens, 4 Path to Exile, and 3 Lightning Helix. In addition to the Exarch, he bumped up Kiki Jiki to a 3 of and removed Pestermite entirely from the list. This was the most proactive Twin deck, foregoing the classic counters in Mana Leak and Cryptic Command, instead relying on just Remand to protect himself. Li Shitian came in 5th place with a deck I'm sure you've already heard a ton of buzz about, Blue Moon. The only win conditions in this deck are 2 Master of Waves and 2 Batterskull. The entire rest of this blue-red strategy is filled with control in every possible way. 2 of the most powerful cards this weekend, Blood Moon and Threads of Disloyalty, carried the deck to victory throughout most of the tournament. In addition to interesting main deck choices like Spreading Seas and Vedalken Shackles, this deck took the Pro Tour by storm. Most of the field was filled with 3 color decks and a ton of dual lands. Blood Moon could not have been better positioned for this meta. The card turns off literally 9 out of 10 decks in the Pro Tour. Only 8 people went into Pro Tour Born of the Gods playing this deck. 7 of them made day 2. That says a lot about its effectiveness. Just the synergy between playing Blood Moon and then taking out whatever basics they have with Spreading Seas is disgusting. This deck is amazing. Oh, by the way, in case you didn't hear, one sideboard Teferi Mage's Zalfir. Yeah, I know. Comes in against Splinter Twin and anything else that relies on counters. What a hoser. In 6th place we have Christian Sabold, playing a deck we've all seen for quite a while. Affinity was back in full form and actually performed pretty well overall. Not only did Sabold top 8 with it, but it also made day 2 from many competitors playing it. Affinity is a strategy that masses artifact creatures to play more artifacts. The deck is named after the keyword Affinity created for the original Mirrodin block. While most of the Affinity cards are banned, some are not. Thoughtcast, for instance, is disgusting and oftentimes only costs 1 to draw 2 cards. Metalcraft from Scars of Mirrodin block adds in Mox Opal, Etched Champion, and Galvanic Blast. Take all these pieces and add them to a bunch of 0 mana artifacts, Arcbound Ravager, and Cranial Plating, and you get gigantic metal robots that attack on turn 3 for, I don't know, 17. It also helps that Master of Ethereum and Steel Overseer are disgusting. One of the reasons Affinity was able to do so well this weekend is because Blood Moon has very little effect on the deck. Besides Master of Ethereum, you really don't care what kind of mana you're using to cast your Machines of Death. The last deck we're going to look at is one that's quickly growing on me. Storm, piloted by Chris Fennell, took the 7th place spot. The deck wins by casting either Graveshot or Empty the Warrens after accumulating a massive amount of spells cast in a single turn. When a card has Storm, you copy it for each spell cast that turn up to that point. The deck plays Pyromancer Ascension and Goblin Electromancer to create both cheap and free spells. It has Serum Visions and Sleight of Hand to make sure it gets the perfect draws. Then it uses Faithless Looting, Manamorphose, Pyretic Ritual, and Desperate Ritual over and over and over again in one single gigantic turn that eventually results in Grapeshot being cast nearly 20 times on an opponent, or Empty the Warrens, creating anywhere from 10 to 30 to 40 goblins. If your hand just can't keep up when stacking Storm count, Past in Flames has your back, letting you cast every single ritual card you just played all over again. This deck is hilarious. It barely interacts with its opponent and is capable of a turn 3 kill. Genius. This Pro Tour was one of the more entertaining ones I've ever seen. The upcoming Modern season is going to be filled with some awesome strategies. Of course, by that I mean a ton of deck techs. Did you watch the Pro Tour? What'd you think? Also, how many of you are going to be playing Modern now that weren't before? As always, subscribe below for the latest and most reliable Magic the Gathering information you could ever need. This is the Manosaurus, I'm Wedge, thanks for watching, we'll see you next time.